Cheating. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Day 13. No, day 14. I think we're on day 14. Yes, day 14. Pretty sure we're on day 14. Day 14 on how to stop binge eating. I literally just checked as soon as I went live, but I'm pretty sure we're on day 14. So welcome. What I want to talk to you guys about today is letting go of control. So on your journey of healing your relationship with food, there are certain things that you are going to need to let go of. And I have a list of a few different things that I want to break down with you. A few things that you're going to have to say goodbye to if you really want to conquer binge eating. There are certain things that you just have to say goodbye to if you fully want to conquer binge eating. And how many of you guys want to stop binge eating? Drop a yes in the chat if that's you. And I know all of you guys here want to stop binge eating, and not just stop binge eating for a month or for 2 months, like you want to sustainably end binge eating for good. So I'm going to share a few different things that you're going to have to say goodbye to if you really want to stop binge eating. So the first thing that you're going to have to let go of, which might sound obvious, but we're going to break it down, is your food rules. You might already know, yes, I have 1,000,001 food rules. You might have certain food rules that are very clear for you. Maybe maybe there are certain food rules that you're very clear of, like, you tell yourself you can't eat after 7 o'clock. Maybe you have a food rule of you can't go out for dinner Monday to Friday, but the weekends you can. Maybe there are certain food rules that are very clear for you, but there's also very sneaky food rules that are kind of in the subconscious. So for me, a sneaky food rule was I used to only allow myself a fourth or a half of a protein bar. And I'm like, that's not restriction. That's not a food rule. I'm allowing myself to have it. But the amount was restriction. Only allowing myself to have a fourth, like a 1/4 of a protein bar or half of a protein bar, it was a food rule. What do you think I did after that? I literally binged on 3, 4, 5 million protein bars. That created an urge. When you tell yourself you can only have 1/4 or 1/2, and you know that that's not even realistic, that's not like, you're like, oh, what the heck, this is like one bite, right? It's going to backfire and you're going to end up having the whole bar. So that was kind of a sneaky rule for me. I'm trying to think of some other sneaky food rules that I didn't really, like if I went out for lunch, let's say on a Saturday, I'd be like, well, I can't go out for dinner on the next day. It was like only like one eating out session for that weekend. That's a food rule. So food rules don't have to just be like very obvious, like they can be pretty sneaky. And even for me, I had some other food rules of like, you need protein and vegetables at every single meal. You really talk too much. Oh, well, I'm on a live stream, so this is what I do on a live stream. Okay, block. So my food rule was like, I needed to have protein and vegetables at every single one of my meals. And you might not think that's a food rule. You might just think I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to reach my health and fitness goals. And that's amazing. And you still can. But how do you feel when you don't do it? Here's how you know if you have a food rule. If you don't do that thing, are you beating yourself up? So for example, I knew that was a food rule for me because if I had a meal, let's say I would have pasta for dinner, I would feel guilty because I'm like, there's no protein and there's no vegetable. So if you feel guilty or if you're doing something and you feel bad about doing it, it's a rule, right? Even when it comes to like your workouts, if I would feel guilty if I missed a workout day. So that was a rule that I needed to work out every day. So if you're feeling guilty, if you don't do the thing that you say you want to do, if there's guilt and there's shame, that's a rule. So what are some of your food rules? Drop in the chat. What are some of your food rules? Rosie's here, Ashley, Grace, Lorena, Julie, Becky. Drop your food rules in the chat. Like, what are some of your food rules that you know you need to let go of? Some of you guys are like, I can only have one cookie. And I'm like, Like, that's a rule. It's a rule because it creates anxiety. If you have 2 cookies, how do you feel? You probably feel guilty. That's a rule. Hey, Danielle. So that's the first one. Maybe you need to let go of judging yourself. Maybe you need to let go of guilt. I had so much judgment. I had so much guilt hanging around me. Every single time that I ate something, I would feel guilty. How many of you guys beat yourself up a lot? How many of you guys have, like, you know that you judge yourself a lot for how much you're eating? I would literally be making myself a meal and I'm like, that's a lot of food. Like, do you really need all that? Or like you're having more carbs? Like, do you really need all that? I used to judge myself so much. If you want to conquer binge eating, you need to let go of guilt and judgment. Where are you judging yourself? Where are you judging yourself? Maybe it's for how much you're eating. Maybe it's what you're eating, right? One of my clients said she wanted 2 tablespoons of peanut butter the other day. And she's like, I can tell, like, I was judging myself. Like, well, you normally only have 1. Like, what are you doing having 2? That's judgment. So where are you judging yourself? You need to let go of judgment, whether it's judgment over the way that you look, whether it's judgment for how much you're eating or what you're eating. You need to let go of judgment. You got to say goodbye to judgment if you want to heal your relationship with food. Okay, the next thing, you need to let go of what other people think about you, and you need to stop taking things personally. So I have a really big heart, and I know many of you guys do as well. And I used to take everything personally. When somebody would make a comment like, oh, that's a large portion, I literally would get so triggered. I'm like, this person thinks I'm fat. This person thinks like I eat so much. And I took everything so personally. And nobody should be commenting on how much you're eating or what you're eating. Like, nobody should be making those comments. However, when you're on your healing journey, people are going to comment. People are going to say, oh, you eat too much. Oh my God, you barely eat. Oh my God, that's a lot. Oh my God, that's all you're getting. People are always going to comment on your food choices. And when you choose to not take it personally, when you choose to not obsess or worry about what other people think about you, you're going to set yourself free. I never wanted to eat in front of other people. I would go all day not eating in front of other people because I would rather not have somebody make a comment than me eat. Like, I would rather starve myself than have somebody potentially make a comment. And how sad is that? I literally would come home from school when I was in, yeah, Melissa said people are going to comment all the time, too much, too little, doesn't matter. Exactly. Or you lost weight, or whoa, it looks like you put on, like, people are always going to comment. I'm 4 years binge free and people still make comments about what I'm eating. And I'm like, but now I don't get triggered. So now it's like somebody can make a comment about, how much you're eating. And I don't really care because I'm confident in I know that I'm eating the right amount for my body. I trust myself. I know how much that I need to eat. I don't judge myself anymore. And when you stop judging yourself, the comments that other people say to you are going to be less triggering. But if you're judging yourself for getting seconds and then somebody makes a comment, it's going to be even more triggering, right? Because you're still not confident in your decisions. When you're confident in who you are, your food choices, how much you're eating, it's like other people making comments is going to trigger you because you haven't healed that part yet. Melissa said, I try to ignore it now, but it used to bother me a lot. Yeah. And it will definitely become less triggering. Again, the more that you work on being so confident in yourself and your food choices, that those comments are going to not be so triggering. So you need to let go of what other people think, and you need to not take things personally, whether this is comments or even like what you want to wear. Like, wear whatever you want to wear. Like, I used to be so worried, like, people need to like me. And, I just cared so much about what other people thought. And That didn't make me happy. And on your healing journey, it's not selfish to really care about yourself. Like, I started recognizing, like, I am not going to let somebody's potential comment hold me back from not eating all day. Like, that's not healthy for me. So I'm like, I'm going to take my power back and say, you know what? I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat whatever I want. Whether somebody makes a comment or not, I know that I'm respecting my body and I'm taking good care of myself. And there would be even times where, let's say there was pizza. People would order pizza. And if I genuinely did not want the pizza, I said, I don't want the pizza. I don't care if somebody's like, oh, Lorna's not eating, Lorna's on a diet, because I knew in my heart I wasn't on a diet. I just genuinely didn't want it. There would be times where everyone would be, you know, maybe not getting ice cream. And I'm like, I want ice cream. No one else wants it. I'm going to get it. I don't care if somebody was like, oh, whoa, like Lorna's getting ice cream. Like, we just had lunch. I don't care. I want the ice cream. So this is what I mean by letting go of what other people think. It does not matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. And I want to say that in a heartfelt way of like, I know it could be triggering, so I want to respect that. But at the same time, you are so much better than that. Like, you don't deserve to put your body through hell by not eating or, you know, wearing a sweater on a hot day because you're so worried about somebody making a comment about your stomach or your arms. Like, you don't deserve that. So take your power back and release the fear of what other people think, because a lot of the times, yeah, people will comment, but a lot of the times people won't. And your fear of what if somebody comments, you might be not eating all day because what if somebody makes a comment and what if nobody does? Then you just spend all day not eating. And that's not fair for your body. Okay. Now, the third thing that you need to let go of is your identity. This is a big one. Who are you identifying yourself as? So, hi, Kate. Some of you guys might be identifying yourself as a binge eater. I'm a self-sabotager. I'm not consistent. Or on the other side of the spectrum, maybe you're identifying yourself as I'm the fit one in the friend group and I'm the healthy one in the friend group. Regardless, what identity are you giving yourself? Both are not good. Because if you have this identity of I'm a self-sabotager, I'm inconsistent, I'm a binge eater, then literally what will end up happening is when you start feeling very good with food and you're consistent, you're like, this isn't who I am. Wait, I'm a self-sabotager. I'm not somebody who's consistent. What? I haven't binged in an entire week? That's not who I am. I'm a binge eater. I've been struggling with this for 10 years of my life. So then you literally sabotage because your behaviors are reflected upon the identity that you're choosing for yourself. And same with, I'm the healthy one in the friend group. I'm the fit one in the friend group. That was a big one for me. I actually identified with both identities. I used to always say I'm a self-sabotager. I can't be consistent with my diet. I always mess things up. I'm always restarting on Monday. That was my identity. But then I also had this identity of I'm the fit one. I'm the healthy one in the friend group. And that's when, if you have that identity, that's when you're never going to have dessert in front of your friends. That's when you're not going to order what you really want at the restaurant because everybody knows you as one way. I used to have friends over and Andrew would put out the dessert. Obviously, I would have dessert for my company, like the company that I would have over. And I would never have dessert. Never once would I ever have dessert. As soon as my company left the door, I demolished the rest of the treats. That was the only time I felt safe actually eating those foods, because when you identify as everyone knows me as healthy and everyone knows me as the fit one, you won't dare have those foods in front of your friends because you're so worried. Again, going back to what I said, you're so worried that they're going to make a comment. You're so worried that they're going to make a comment about how much you're eating, right? So what identity are you holding on to that's not even serving you? I was talking to one of my clients in the Ditch Decade Diets Academy, and this is where you get personalized coaching. So she was voice messaging me in our group chat, and she said, like, it was so weird. Like, I didn't even have the urge to binge, but I just binged. And it was so weird because, like, I didn't have the urge. Like, I don't know why that happened. And a lot of the times when you're doing really well and you're not having binges, it's like your mind goes like, number one, this isn't who I am, but also number two, like, what do I fill up my time up with? If I'm not binging, like, what do I do? Who am I? Like, what do I replace this with? And it feels weird. It feels weird if you're not binging because you've done it for so long. And I told my client, I said, this is a beautiful opportunity for you to really get clear on who do you want to be? When you're struggling with binge eating, you don't have a choice. You feel compelled. You feel like food controls you. But when you're no longer binging, you can decide, who am I? Who do I want to be? I want to be somebody who has balance and freedom and it is present. And I want to be somebody who is spontaneous, who can go with the flow. Like, who do you want to be? What do you want to fill up your time up with? You get to decide. Again, with binge eating, you don't have a choice. Whether you want to read or you want to go for a walk, it's always like binge. I never had a choice. It was like I came home from work and I just binged. I didn't even have a choice. Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to read? I didn't have a choice. It was always binge, binge, binge. But when you heal your relationship with food and you're no longer binging, you get to decide, like, what do I want to do tonight? You know, you're going to have so much more time. So what do you want to fill up your time up with? What hobbies do you want to engage in? And by the way, if you're still here with me, say hello in the chat, drop an emoji, say hi, Christina, Rachel, Grace, Melissa, Rosie. Hello, you guys. Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you're here. Okay, so you need to let go of this identity of I'm a binge eater, I'm a self-sabotager, I'm the healthy one in the friend group, or, you know, I'm always on a diet. Because, hey, Christina, recovering binge eater here. Okay, hello. And I would, yeah, I also like even the terminology of like, I'm a binge eater. Like, we're just going to let that go. We're going to let that go. We're going to let that go, because I was even telling my client, I said, binge eating is what you do. It's not who you are. Let that land. Binge eating is what you do. It's not who you are. Don't identify yourself as a binge eater. Hey, Riley, Riley says you've helped me so much. Amazing. Okay. The next thing that you need to let go of, so many of you guys are going to resonate with this next one. How many of you need to let go of holding on to being a body size that you can't maintain? So I was always on diets my whole life, and I was always trying to be smaller. Always need to be smaller, be smaller, be smaller, be smaller. And I would always be chasing this body that was smaller, but I could never maintain it. It was a nightmare to maintain. And by the way, it's not a dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain. It's not a dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain. So I had this, belief that I always need to be smaller, but that kept me trapped. If you're holding on to being a size that you once were 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, even a few months ago, but you needed to go through hell to get there, like, that's a nightmare to maintain. You need to let that go. And not let that go in the sense that you can't feel amazing in your own skin. You can. But are you trying to maintain, again, a body size that's a nightmare to keep up with? There was a point in, I think this was 2017, I believe, I literally was eating so little calories. I had to do even more exercise, because the more times that you diet, the more your body gets accustomed to that. And so you need to start working out more and eating less to continue those results. And I dieted for so many years. So, the first diet that you go on, you can lose weight like this, but then you keep dieting and your metabolism is just getting fried and fried and fried. So you have to up your workouts and you have to decrease your food. And I was like, I can't keep this up. Like, at one point I was doing like 3 hours of working out a day and I was exhausted. I was fatigued. I was starving. I'm like, I can't maintain this. And I need to let go of that. And again, not in the sense of I'm letting myself go, but I needed to let go of these unrealistic expectations that I was going to be the same body size that I was 5 years ago. And also, I didn't want to be doing that. I didn't want to be spending 3 hours in the gym. I have a husband, I got a business. Like, I don't have time to be spending 3 hours in the gym, let alone I don't want to be torturing my body like that. Right? So you might right now be trying to chase a body that you can't even maintain. Or in order for you to maintain it, it's a nightmare. You're eating. One of my clients, she's like, she used to do the elliptical and she used to spend hours on the elliptical and force herself to eat broccoli and egg whites all day. And she's like, I don't freaking want to do that anymore. So maybe you need to let go of that. How many of you guys need to let go of that? Let me know in the chat. All right, the last thing that you might have to let go of is, this is a big one, people-pleasing tendencies. So I work with a lot of clients that really resonate with, again, I don't want to put a label on it, but just for the context of this live stream, being a people pleaser. And again, a lot of people that have really big hearts, like I know you do, tend to people please because you want everyone to be happy. You want to give to everyone. You care so much about everyone. You have such a big heart, but then you put yourself in the back burner. And I had one client that I worked with in the academy, and she would always say yes to everyone. Yes. Oh, sure. Yep. I can do this. Yep. I can do this. I can do that. And at the end of the day, she would always find herself binging at night. How many of you guys can resonate with binging at night? Drop a yes in the chat if you can resonate with that. And she was always binging at night. And even if it wasn't binging, she's like, I'm just snacking. And like, I know I'm not hungry. And I said, okay, well, tell me about your day. And she's like, well, I feel like I don't have any time for myself. So come the end of the day, when I finally have, 10, 15 minutes to myself and my daughter goes to bed, that's the time that I just have for myself. And I said, we need to change this up. Because if you're pouring into other people's cups, you are depleting your own cup. So at the end of the day, when you finally have that moment to relax, your way of filling up your own cup is through binging or numbing out on food because that's the only thing you have capacity for. Is this making sense? That my client, that was the only thing that she had capacity for. Numbing out. How much effort does that take? Not a lot of effort. So when you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving to everyone around you because you have such a big heart and you care about other people, you're depleting yourself. And at the end of the day, we need to fill up our own cup. So if you don't fill up your own cup through setting boundaries, creating time for yourself, having those moments of self-care, at 9 o'clock at night, you're going to find yourself binging. You're going to find yourself numbing out on food because you need to fill up your own cup. How do you deal with all the anger inside without binging? A really good way of releasing anger sounds crazy, but it's a form of emoting. It's literally either screaming, like grabbing a pillow and like screaming, going in your car and screaming, or even like punching a pillow. And these are very healthy ways of emoting. We need to emote. It's a very healthy thing because if we don't process anger, it just turns into aggression, right? Vanessa says, where are you located? I do online. I see you're from Canada. I'm from Canada. I'm in Canada as well, Vanessa, but I do everything online. I have clients in the UK, in the States, Australia, Colombia, all over the world. So if you are interested in working with me, you can just message me on my Instagram. So you need to release people-pleasing tendencies and you need to set boundaries. You need to have time for self-care. You need to have time to fill up your own cup during the day, not just at night when you have 15 minutes, right? It's filling up your cup throughout the day, taking care of you. Taking care of you. It's not selfish. if you want to heal your relationship with food, if you're ready to stop binge eating, you need to have boundaries in your life. Even I had one client that I worked with inside of the Ditch Decade Diets Academy, and her mom was very triggering for her. Every time she would see her mom would always complain of all these negative things in her life. And, you know, this isn't going right. This isn't going right. And my client was like, I need to set a boundary with my mom. And she needed to like say, like, I'm not gonna, like, she didn't visit her mom as much. And she just did phone calls. She's like, that felt like a good boundary for me. What boundaries do you need to set in place? It's not selfish. You need to set boundaries in your life because you matter. Your time matters, your energy matters. And just because you have the time to do something doesn't mean you have the capacity. So just because you have a day off from work doesn't mean Bob, Susie, and Sarah can call you at any time of the day. You might have the time, but you might not have the capacity. When I have time, sometimes I don't do anything because I need me time. So just because you have time in your day and technically you have nothing in your schedule, you're also allowed to say no. I think a lot of the time people think, well, I have time. So technically I could go to the bank and I can also pick up my grandma and I can also drop off this person. I can also do this for somebody else. Yes, mental energy. Yes, exactly. And, you know, you say yes to everyone because you have an empty calendar and you feel guilty. Well, I have the time. Okay, but do you have the energy? Do you have the capacity? Do you even want to be doing that? I've gotten so good at setting boundaries. I have so many boundaries in my life, and it's not selfish. It's not, I'm better than you. I need boundaries. You can't come into my life, but it's what works also best for me. So even with friends in my life, family members in my life, you know, like if somebody says, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, I need to check my schedule. What's going to be best for me? That's not selfish. Because if I am so depleted at the end of the day, I can't give you my all. So it's actually helpful for the other person because you want to show up as your best self. If you're depleted, how can you give to other people? And for a lot of my clients that have kids, and maybe you can resonate as well if you have kids, you want to do everything for your children. But if mom is running on 1% battery because you have no boundaries in your life, is it actually selfish to set boundaries? No, you're going to be having more energy for your kids, and that's what you actually want deep down. So to reiterate, what do you need to let go of? Whether it's food rules, maybe it's judgment and guilt, maybe you need to let go of the fear of what other people think about you and taking things personally. Maybe you need to let go of your identity. Oh my God, Joan, I just wanted to say you have helped me with my binging when I came across your TikTok. Yay, I'm so glad, Joan. This is amazing. Maybe you need to let go of holding on to a body size that you can't even maintain. And then maybe you need to let go of people-pleasing tendencies, and maybe you need to set more boundaries in your life. These things are all going to help you stop binge eating, whether you recognize it or not. All of these things are going to help you stop binge eating. So let me know in the chat, which one do you need to let go of? Thanks, Cher, for sharing the video. Let me know in the chat box. Umi's here. Umi won the giveaway yesterday. I just sent her the masterclass bundle, so congratulations, you're here. What do you need to let go of? Definitely need to let go of people pleasing. Yes, hey, Vid, you're one of my clients inside of Stop the Urge. I remember that. Okay, let me know what you need to let go of. Need to let go of people-pleasing tendencies. That's a big one. It's a big one. I work a lot on that with my clients. Hey, Joanne. Okay, you can keep dropping it in the chat if you are just popping on, but we are going to wrap up, you guys. I need to let go of self-sabotage. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so this was day 14, I believe. Lost track. I will be live again tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So let me know who's coming tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Be here. I do a little lesson on how to stop binge eating. And if there's time for questions, sometimes I stay on and answer some questions, but I do need to pop off. I'm going to go head off for a walk with a friend. But have an amazing rest of your day, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for day 4. or sorry, not day 4, at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will see you tomorrow. So have an amazing rest of your day, you guys, and we will see you guys soon. Okay, bye.